now, and the upper house of Thailand's parliament has approved a law giving equal marriage rights to same-sex couples. It will now be sent on to the Thai king for royal assent. The legislation will replace all gendered terms in marriage law, such as man and woman, with gender-neutral alternatives. I spoke to our reporter in the Thai capital, Bangkok, Panisa Amusha, and asked her just how long it has taken for this law to be passed.
It has been decades for us, for the Thai peoples, especially for the LGBT group, and advocate to fight for the bill to be enacted finally. But the official ones date back to about 2012, and now Thailand is the first Asian country to pass the same-sex marriage legislations. At the moment, the Thai people, the international organizations also congratulates on the passing of the bill.
Thailand is famously pretty tolerant when it comes to same-sex relationships. Is there much opposition to this law? Has there been much opposition to it?
Yeah, there's still opposition even to the Senate parliaments today. As we mentioned, that the term for gender-specific term, such as husband and wife, has been removed from the bill. And some of the Senate argue that the fact that the bills remove all the specific gender-specific term will undermine, quote-unquote, undermine the family structures and jeopardize the right of heterosexual men and women. But alas, the parliament has passed the bill.
Marriages and weddings in Thailand are pretty important, big family events, a lot of religious ceremony as well. Is it going to be possible for same-sex couples to go through the full process that opposite-sex couples would go through in terms of being blessed by monks and having big family ceremonies in monasteries, or is this just a purely civil legislative change?
For this bill in particular, it doesn't cover the way couples will celebrate their wedding, but what they will gain for sure is the benefit under the law. So now they will be able to manage their joint accounts, their joint income, their joint property when they couldn't in the past. They will be also able to sign the consent form when it's come to any medical treatment, and they will now be entitled to the same benefit and social assistance as heteros couple.
Are there going to be big celebrations later on today in Bangkok and across the country?
Yes, this is happening at the moment at the government house. The government actually opened the government house to celebrate the new law, and more smaller celebrations is coming. And now the term equal marriage is now trending #1 on X platform.
Panisa.
Chuck Schumer forced to delete this Father's Day pic he posted on X, showing off his attempt to cook a cheeseburger on a grill. Old Chuck slapping a piece of cheese on a raw patty. Jesse, when you talk to your chef at home, how outraged was he?
Nothing makes sense about this. So if you look at the burner knobs, they're all off except the middle one. So that doesn't make sense. The dogs are already cooked, but the burgers are raw, and there's cheese on there, and he has moobs. The whole thing is just distracting.
I think, Harold, the ongoing theory is he's trying to kill his family by getting them, serving them raw meat.
If Nicholas Kristof was here, he'd say his intentions were good, but the outcome didn't turn out.
The outcome is lousy.
I got something to say.
Sure.
Okay, first of all, what's a Democrat doing with a gas grill? That's number one.
That's what I thought the objection was going to be.
The color of the patties looks really sick. And number three, cheese on meat in general is forbidden, especially cheese on uncooked meat. Okay? Chuck Schumer, he's Jewish.
Oh, there you go.
He's Jewish?
Shut up.
Martha,
What are you talking
why is it that every time a politician tries to act like a normal American, it shows how detached they are from being a normal American?
Well, he said that he lives in an apartment, and I think one of his daughter or his niece got an actual house outside of the city, and it was like the first time he'd ever grilled anything, I think. So
That's the second worst
First timer
topping.
error. Plus, were these hamburgers that were pre-made because it's better to just take the ground beef and make your own hamburger?
We don't have
Those
that research,
are pre-made
Martha.
and they're gray.
Yeah, gray and pre-made. They're too dense.
Give him the benefit of the doubt.
No.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.
President Biden is set to unveil a sweeping immigration relief program that would offer legal status to hundreds of thousands of undocumented immigrants. It's expected to be the biggest immigration program since DACA, the Obama-era program that temporarily protects undocumented immigrants who came to this country as children. That program was established in 2012, and the president is set to mark its anniversary at the White House later on today. Immigration and politics reporter Camila Montoya Galvez is here to talk a little bit more about this major new plan. Camila, what a way to, mark the anniversary, I guess, of DACA with this new policy. I think a lot of people believe that once you are married to an American citizen, you sort of get automatic citizenship. That's not the case. Tell us about this policy.
It is not. This will be a massive program, Anne-Marie. It is expected to benefit nearly 500,000 immigrants living in the country illegally who are married to U.S. citizens, to American citizens. And yes, on paper, those who marry American citizens, Anne-Marie, are eligible for permanent residency, otherwise known as a green card. But for those who cross into the U.S. illegally initially, they typically have to leave the country, go back to their home country like Mexico, Peru, Colombia, other countries across the world, and then come back legally to get a green card. But in that process, Anne-Marie, many of these immigrants, because they lived in the U.S. unlawfully, face a 10-year ban from the U.S. And so that leads many families not to pursue this option. This policy by the Biden administration, Anne-Marie, would allow those immigrants to adjust their status to permanent resident status here in the U.S. without having to leave the country. And it would also give them work permits and temporary protected status from deportation while they await that green card. And so this is a massive change that, again, is expected to benefit hundreds of thousands of immigrants. I should also add that the administration is also announcing another measure today that will make it easier for those DACA recipients and other dreamers to gain employment-based work visas here in the U.S. if they have graduated from U.S. colleges.
Okay, so let's first talk about this program that he's going to be announcing for the spouses. Do we have a timeline at all?
Officials told us, Anne-Marie, that they expect this program to open up by the end of summer. That is a very ambitious deadline because, of course, this program is very new. It has to be stood up, and also it could very well face legal challenges. Republican-led states, as you know, have filed lawsuits against virtually every major Biden administration policy, especially the more generous ones. And so we should expect this policy to face challenges in the federal court system, just like other Obama administration policies that were similar in scope did. The DACA policy is still under legal peril in federal court, and another attempt by the Obama administration to provide work permits to the parents of U.S. citizens and green card holders was struck down in court, actually. So this could meet the same fate.
All right, TBD, we'll see. Camilo, thank you very much.
Russian President Putin travels to North Korea today. The dictatorship of Kim Jong-un is one of the key suppliers of weapons and munitions to Russia after the Ukraine war turned the country into a pariah. It's his first visit to North Korea since the year 2000, when Kim's father ruled the country. For the latest, let's go to Chapman Bell, who's following the story for us. Good morning, Chapman. Do we know what Kim and Putin will discuss in their meeting?
Good morning, Francis. Well, it seems little doubt that the focus of their talks will be surrounding munitions. There have been concerns following particularly the two leaders' last visit last year in Russia's Far East about an agreement between the two nations, whereas Pyongyang provides armaments to Russia to support their ongoing war in Ukraine, and Russia then provides economic aid and technology assistance to North Korea. And, while the two sides seem to be more closely aligned, American and South Korean officials have, of course, accused Pyongyang of providing military aid to Russia. Both sides have denied this, as that accusation would violate a UN Security Council resolution or several UN Council resolutions. And this visit happening on the heels of Russia's latest visit to Cuba for naval drills. The Russian Navy spending 5 days in Cuba for naval drills, and what's being described as routine drills for this visit. But Putin's 2-day state visit to North Korea will be his first visit there since becoming a newly elected president back in 2000 when he visited Kim Jong-un's father, Kim Jong-il. So we'll have to wait and see what happens from this 2-day state visit. Putin's expected to arrive today, and the two leaders are expected to meet tomorrow. So we'll see what happens and what maybe comes out of this visit, Francis.
A visit and meeting on the world stage with everyone watching. Kay Chapman, thank you.